And in this video I'd like to discuss why Alleria Windrunner is now a Void Hunter. And no, this isn't about the storyline that we have just seen in the latest reset of patch 7.3. You can go and see that for yourself if you haven't already done that questline. This is more about what's the real reason, because it's not just about the Argus storyline. In fact, it's got zero to do with patch 7.3 of that, I'm certain, and nothing at all to do with Argus. This is for something coming and potentially coming in the near future. Maybe in the expansion, maybe in the patch that is to come after Argus. So what am I talking about here? Well, there are a few things that are very curious in terms of the storyline as it's evolving. These storylines that have come through on patch 7.3 so far are totally at odds with the way we view the Naru and the Void, or have done in the past. Something very different is emerging here. They're having very much a rewrite on the relationship of these two. Someone on a comment on one of my videos a short while ago was advocating the theory, which is a very, very intriguing one, that the Naru and the Void are essentially on the same side, and perhaps the Naru are servants of the Void themselves. There is a great deal of credibility to this, because what evidence do we have that the Naru are opposed to the Void? Not really a lot. The Naru are opposed to the Legion. What are the Legion against? Under Sargeras, they're against the Void. Sargeras is the greatest enemy of the Void Lords. His Burning Crusade is all about destroying worlds where the corruption appears to have taken hold. In fact, his plan, of course, is to eradicate all life, prevent the Void from being able to corrupt any of it, and then his eventual plan was maybe life will come back. But most definitely, his priority is destroying worlds that have Titan souls, where old gods, as we would call them, are starting that process of corruption to turn them into like Void Titans. So there's been a few curious things occurring. First of all, we had Zera forcibly trying to remove the Sargerite taint, as he or she might call it, from Illidan. Illidan resisted this. We also had the little snippet as we went to rescue Zera. Alleria explaining about her peering into the Void to help Zera, but Zera becoming very angry and imprisoning her. So the Naru are hiding something. What was it that Alleria might have seen peering into the Void that would have compromised the plan of the Naru? There's now something very unsavoury, very underhand about the Naru. Everything the Naru have done to help us, to help the Draenei most specifically, has been about frustrating Sargeras' plans. Then we look at another curious thing, the Netherlight Crucible. Forget about all the RNG monster. The Netherlight Crucible from a storyline point of view. What did we have to do to activate it? We had to infuse it with light, but also shadow. Why is this? The Netherlight Crucible is a thing of Velen. It's a thing of the light. He is a priest of the light. It's all about the light and not at all about the shadow. So why is the Netherlight Crucible this apparent balance of light and shadow? Very, very curious. Alleria herself in this latest questline, when talking to her master, the Locust Walker, he asks her how she can continue on this path with the light beside her, Turalyon. And she replies that without the light there can be no shadow. That might be saying more than it appeared to at the time. We're just supposed to take that as she can work with Turalyon, her partner, absolutely fine. He is a being of the light, she is a being of shadow, no problem at all. But it means more than that, doesn't it? They're both aspects of the same thing. This is now very much looking like the Naru. I'm now starting to see, actually, like the scales falling from my eyes. The Naru and the Void on the same side. This is so interesting. So then we come back to, so why have Blizzard done this and why have they done it now? Always seems strange to me. There's clearly a Void presence on Argus. How would this be? There's no old gods as far as we can see. Remember, Sargeras would have destroyed them. The reason he spared Argus, he would have destroyed it anyway, was because he found he could make use of the Eredar, powerful spellcasters. So how would he and his Legion allow a significant Void presence on Argus? All seems very, very strange. And none of this was needed for the storyline in terms of what it is. The storyline of this is very much about destroying the Burning Legion. We are, in the next raid, going to defeat Sargeras, who's going to be chained up forevermore. His legion is ended. The demons aren't ended, of course. But remember, the demons aren't about being opposed to the void. They are just in the service of Sargeras, working to that end. But demons existed before Sargeras grabbed them. In fact, that's how he started in the first place. And they'll continue afterwards. But they won't be the legion anymore. Now, this void and shadow questline has got nothing to do at all with locking away Sargeras. It has to be sowing the seeds for something that is coming later. And of course, there's already been plenty of hints that the next expansion is going to be very Old Gods related. Because they're going to basically end the Legion, and the Legion is going to end. The Legion as a force is over at this expansion. Not just a minor setback. They're making it really, really clear with what's coming up. It's over, it's done, forget about it. So we have to have this common threat. The common threat remaining is, of course, not just the Old Gods, but actually their masters, the Void itself. We're obviously going to be catapulted into a much greater escalation of this side of things. They need to start explaining it. I've said this before, if ever they're going to start working towards the Void as being this main existential threat, they have to start explaining more about it. Although lore-wise, technically we know a reasonable amount about it, we only know that from books, not the game very much. So they have to start putting things in the game. And I think this is what this is about. Alleria is maybe going to become, to the Void, what Magna has become for Azeroth. Someone that can explain things to us. Someone who is attuned with that side of things, knows what's going on, and will be able to explain things for us in the next expansion. I think Alleria is going to be having a very crucial role within the storyline in the next expansion. I was querying some time ago who's going to be our guide in the next expansion, because we've had Khadgar for 2 expansions. Wouldn't make sense for another one, because then people just start to see him as our guide in the game, which is not really the case. I think Alleria. But those are my thoughts on the real reason for Alleria being this Void Hunter. I think it's got more to do with content that's coming up than now. We didn't have to do anything to do with the Void to get the Netherlight Crucible. Velen could have sent us off to find a puppy to enact the Netherlight Crucible. This idea of light and shadow is nothing that's borrowing on from what's come before. It's entirely about what's coming up in the future, because it doesn't make sense in the context of what we know now. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you found this interesting. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share for further content. And until next time, I'll see you later.